Hello and welcome to the J Train Podcast. This is J Train Jared Freight coming to you live from the quarantine cabin on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. We're here Monday through Friday. That's right, with your Freed by Noon episodes. You wake up every morning to a little cup of J Train, and it's coming in steaming hot. And all I need you to do is sip it up and tell a friend. Tell a friend, a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa, anyone with ears. We will take them. I'll take them in. I'll put them to my nape and let them suck at my teat for all of the laughs. And all you got to do, that's it. Just let them know. Tag someone in my Instagram post. Let the people know. Sing it from the rooftops. Jared Freed, Jared Freed. I want you to listen to Freed by Noon every day. Very excited for today's episode. I got a lot of emails. I'm going to do a luxury lounge. Got some quick kick questions. All you got to do, tell a friend. Also, we're on YouTube. I did a little experiment. I answered some questions in the comments of the YouTube page. I'll do that again. You guys send a question in the comments of the YouTube page. I'll answer it. Why not? Why not? Subscribe on YouTube. I love the YouTube audience we got cooking up. That's what I need you. Need you on YouTube. Keep sending your emails. jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. I never asked what we are. Jared, curious about your thoughts on this. Matched with a guy on a dating app in mid-March. We've been texting every day since. In the beginning, he made a comment about relationships taking time, which I agreed. Yeah. Okay. Who's on the side of relationships take no time at all? Yeah, relationships are easy and they take about 10 minutes. We'll figure it out. I tend to like to take things slow when it comes to getting into a relationship. But yeah, these are things people say when they want to let you know something. I'm just getting ahead a little bit. But when someone says, I like to take my time, they're letting you know I'm here for this section of the relationship. They're warding off disappointment. We continued to text quite a bit, and honestly really hit it off. Similar conversation styles and humor, and I was really pumped to meet him. We met earlier this week at a park and just went for a walk and chatted for 3 hours. It went really well, and things really felt comfortable with him. He texted me after the date saying he had a great time too. The next day, we continued talking like normal. Then the following day, he hits me with, I'm not really looking for a relationship right now. I asked what he meant and if he wanted to be friends or date, and he said he enjoys us talking and he wants to date, but wanted to make sure we were on the same page of what we were. I wasn't thinking this was a relationship, and after the convo, nothing changed, and we still said we'd date, but now I just kind of feel weird. Like, why did he feel the need to say that after one date? I wasn't asking what we were. Not sure if I should continue to pursue this or not, and was hoping for your thoughts on it. So I will say a lot of people, I get this message from women where a guy will end it or let you know, hey, I'm just letting you know what I'm looking for. And they'll go, I didn't even ask. What do you mean? Why would he bring it up? And it's like, everyone knows that most people want similar things. And I'm not saying you, I'm not saying them, but I'm saying in most cases, every guy is aware that most women they date want to leave casual, go to relationship, go to moving in, go to engagement, go to marriage, go to babies, go to death. They know that. And so a lot of guys, what they do is they get ahead by writing the small print on the contract. What he is doing, it doesn't matter that you didn't ask. He just knows that he wants to fuck you. And he doesn't want the fucking to lock him into having to date you and get more serious. Guys are trying to keep the casual time going as long as possible. And when you write, well, I didn't ask, he's getting ahead. Again, I said in the beginning of this email, he's warding off all potential disappointment. Because at a certain point, you're going to go, well, we've been having sex for a few months. And then he can go, Well, remember in the beginning, I told you I'm not looking for a relationship. This is as much as I want. So to me, he's letting you know that he's looking for very casual and to not move on from there. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Let's do, this is not a drill. Okay, I'm an OJ listener and a huge fan. Okay, this is like a... Okay, this got in the way. I think they were he's telling me that he wants me to tweet out links better. I don't know. You can DM me those suggestions. Lying about his employment for months. Feather, looking for your perspective on the mindset of a situation I absolutely cannot comprehend. I had been dating a guy for about 4 months casually and 4 months exclusively prior to coronavirus. Around the second week of quarantine, I quickly realized that I did not see a future and ended it promptly. He was understandably blindsided, but we had lived in the casual zone for so long, comfortably, that once exclusive and no distractions, I knew we were not right for each other. That makes sense. So recently, after the breakup, I found out that he has been unemployed since November, and he never told me. I knew he was unhappy in his position and looking for other opportunities, but for months pretended to go to work, having meetings, etc. Ooh, is this just embarrassment on his part? In my mind, I'm in my mid-20s and him in his early 30s. I'm in a high-paying professional career, but he has always encouraged open communication, discussion with situations, career or otherwise, which I have been honest within my own moments of weakness. He has also repeatedly commented on being an open book, but I can't help but feel like this is such a big part of his life that he left out. Yes, it's a huge part. You're not wrong. I confronted him once I found out in a kind way, but didn't really gather any answers on why he lied for months on this topic. Hoping for your blunt take on why he went through the trouble of making up work scenarios for the last few months about his 8 to 5. Thank you. Your daily podcast has been an absolute lifesaver. Yeah, he was embarrassed. This is, I understand your questions. I understand your questions, but I don't understand. I understand your questions. He's embarrassed. I can't tell you exactly why, but I would say it's not like normal. I would inform the person I was with that I lost my job, but I don't know his insecurities and you don't know mine. So mine might come out in other ways. To me, he lost his job in his 30s. He's probably looking for some direction and doesn't know what to do. And also, a lot of what's makes you attractive as a man, whether this is fair or not, is your drive and your position and your career. Are you, and it's not even, the making money thing gets put on a pedestal and gets gets a lot of people will talk about, oh, women want a guy who's rich. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's true. I think most people, I understand that. But also, a lot of women I've been with, like, I was going to open mics at 4 p.m., paying to do the open mics, and a lot of them were just very nice and good to me because they were impressed with a certain drive to be a fucking idiot and go do stuff for free. But I think that for men is a lot of where they get their oomph, they get their confidence from. So I'm sure he didn't want to be looked at. And you said you're in a high-paying position and have a great job, so he probably felt he would be looked at like a loser. That's like the really top line reason. Other reasons, I mean, I'm sure there could be other reasons. It could be, this guy just could be a fucking maniac. I don't know. But I don't think it's up to you to like figure that. When you ask these questions, in my mind, I understand he has also repeatedly, he was an open book. Yeah, we all say these things that we know sound good to the other person to make sure that they don't ask a lot of questions. I'm an open book. So, like, I understand why you're asking these questions, but sometimes when people ask these questions, I'm like, are you, like, listening? Like, are you, like, he's an open book, but I can't help but feel like this is such a big part of his life that he left out. Yeah. And I understand. I guess I'm saying this wrong. I'm not meaning to like come down on the emailer, but I'm saying there's a point where this isn't about you. And I know this is offensive to you to like feel like you were dating a stranger. I get your side of this things. But also, let's look at it. The more you ask questions, the more what's he going to fucking say? I'm an embarrassed loser, and I don't know where my fucking career is going, and I couldn't possibly be. And then the girl that I thought I was going to be with dumped me out of thin air. There's a point where it's like, let the guy figure his shit out. It is not I always give the version of like, oh, it's a burning house, run away. That's a burning house. You're not a firefighter. You can't put out the fire. This guy obviously needs help from a professional, obviously needs to speak with someone about where he's going to go in life. And you're not the person that's going to help him do that after you just dumped him because you were like, he's not the match for me. So what I would do if I were you is be a little less question and just be like, and push. If he comes to you, just push him towards professionals, push him towards help, because you're not the one that's going to do it with all your questions. I remember one time I was on vacation and it was right after college. Or no. I was in high school. It was my senior year. And I remember I had applied to go to Michigan, didn't get in. And then I had just found out before the vacation. So I'm on vacation with my family and I didn't get into Michigan. And I think I had gotten into Penn State, but I wasn't sure if I was going there or not. Whatever it was. And I remember I wasn't ready to come to the conclusion in my mind that I wasn't going to a school that I wanted to go to at the time. And I remember there was this mom, and my mom is a loud mom who talks to all moms, no matter how uncomfortable the conversation gets. And she starts talking to this mom, and the mom's like, "Where you going to school?" And I was like, I don't know, and at that point, I remember lying. I remember going, I hope I go to Michigan. And she goes, but they already gave out. They already told people if they're coming or not. And it's like, I just didn't, I don't want to talk to this stranger about how I feel like a loser because I didn't get into the school I wanted to go to. But she kept pushing. She kept going, well, I thought they already sent out the letters. And it's like, it's kind of like this. This email brings me back to that moment because it's like you're asking a lot of questions that if you stop to think for a minute about the other side and the anxieties on the other side, then you might pull back. Like you don't have to you don't have to take the floorboards off to find all the cockroaches. So she's well, but my son found out and he got in. And I remember I was 18 and I fucking broke. I was like, I didn't get into the fucking school. And she was like, oh, how cool. And I remember that moment of just let me come to terms with it in my own way. And I think that's kind of where this situation lies. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. COVID cooling down the steam. So before the quarantine, I connected with this guy who went to a different college than me, but I met once when he visited his childhood friend at my school. Okay, that's a sentence. So before the quarantine, I connected with this guy who went to a different college, but I met once when he visited his childhood friend at my school. So he visited a friend at your school. You hooked up with him. I don't even remember him, but when he moved to Denver, where I live, he recognized me at a coffee shop and we exchanged numbers. Okay, so fast forward, they're in Denver. They see each other. He looks at her. Oh, okay. That night, I texted him, hey, want to grab a drink tonight? We met up, had a couple of drinks, made out, and after he walked me home. The next day, he asked if I was out again, and I was, so we met up. He came to my apartment after where we made out, and he slept over. He hung out for a while in the morning and said he'd like to see me again. I was out of town for work that week, but he kept texting me and staying connected. 3 days after he slept over was when everything shut down due to COVID. Dramatic dun-dun. We continued to chat and stay connected for a while, but eventually it got stale as there was really nothing to talk about, no real potential to hang out. I feel like I should just let it go, as there was really no way to just feel casual and get to know him in a normal way, quote unquote. Since then, things fizzled. We follow each other on Instagram, but that's been the only interaction. I really liked hanging out with him, and we got along really well. I don't often feel the spark with somebody the way I did with him. Should I just continue to wait until we're able to go to bars again, see what he's up to? Should I drop in with a random text, see how quarantine is, and then not speak for a while again? How would you approach rekindling this at some point? For reference, I'm 25, he's 26. We had really fun banter for a while during quarantine, but you can only talk about frozen conspiracy theories for so long. Thanks for feathering our metaphorical nuts. So I would say drop him a text. I think something she said is correct. There's a very tough to be casual right now. It's got to go somewhere. And to me, you guys were heading towards the version that doesn't have the quarantine involved of your relationship is you guys text late at night. Are you out? You hang out? Oh, you're not out? Okay. That's like the fun of the beginning of a relationship is when you're not responsible, like for the other person. And I say that a lot, the word responsible. And what I mean is in this situation, you guys, you know, are you out? No, I'm not out. I'm in tonight. All right. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul exists in that casual part of the relationship. That's so in the beginning. So now you guys are a few hangouts in. You have the background from college, so it's very safe. You know friends of friends, so it's okay that you met in a coffee shop because you know the guy's not a murderer, because you know a friend of his. It's all cool and kosher. The reality is you want to get to that point again when this is over, which you can. I would shoot a text. Hey, how's your quarantine been? Just wanted to check in. Love to get a drink when we're done. And then the ball's in his court when you're done. And then it can go back to casual. I think you need to not take these things personally. And I think we're all on the edge of doing that. You're on the edge. You're like, well, should I just continue to wait? He doesn't want to hear from me. He doesn't want to text me. He doesn't want to text you because he doesn't want to go down this road where you guys are together without even getting the casual part. You're put on the shelf. You should put him on the shelf. Come back to it and send a text right now. Just be chill. I think knowing that this isn't about you as much as, like, a lot of people will tell you, like, if he wants you, he'll keep trying to get you. And it's like, he could also want you and not want to rush along this thing, which right now, these texting conversations that you do for months and months and months can rush it along. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Let's do this one. How to be supportive but not smothering. Jared, I've been a fan for a long time. Sing your praises to friends constantly. Thanks for all you do. I have a problem that's come up recently that I'd love to get your advice on. My longtime boyfriend recently lost his job, and it's been understandably rough on him. I listen if he wants to talk about it and have been trying to help him look for new jobs, but what he does is fairly specific, and I'm honestly not much help. Not to mention that job hunting has been generally tough with the pandemic. His stress is magnified by the fact that he financially supports his aging mom. So he started to consider looking at jobs outside the city we live in so he can get back on his feet. The stress is really, really taking a toll on him emotionally and psychologically, not to mention financially. And I hate feeling powerless to help him. To make things worse, I often struggle to know what to say to comfort him. Verbal affirmations aren't a strength of mine, sadly. And while we've talked about how we do temporary long distance if needed, given that I wouldn't be able to move anywhere before next year, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about that changing things between us on top of everything else. Do you have any advice on how I can be more helpful to get him through this? I know that money and job problems are a main reason for divorce, relationship issues, etc., and I really want to proactively avoid letting this temporary stress derail our relationship. I'm scared of smothering him or saying the wrong thing, but I also don't want to seem like I don't care. I feel like what I'm currently doing isn't enough working very well, so I am open to pretty much anything at this point. What are some things to do, say or not say, to be more comforting? I think this is a very nice email. I feel for him. I feel for you. It sucks. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just be there, to just listen and to just not try and fix, to just be like, listen, I'm here for you. I'm a hug. I'm here to help. I think also going back to some prior advice, don't think it's not personal. It's not about you. This guy, a lot of times we look at someone going through stress and we're like, am I doing this to them? Are they stressed out? Are they, in the way they handle it, you want to go, well, how could you do that while I'm here? How could you not reach out for my help? I think this isn't personal. I think you got to let him go through it. Let him come to you when he needs something. Let him ask questions, but don't, it's like when someone comes to me, like talking about their dating issues, or I take the emails that are sent in to me. I don't go to people and go, you look a little stressed. Let me tell you what I do. Like, no. I take the emails that come to me and I answer them in my own perspective, how I would handle things. I'm not right. I know that, I'm not like a genius. I think you being open to receive when he wants to and just being there when he needs it, but also not taking it personally. Also realizing that, like, you have to be that person who goes, whatever you need to do. If moving out to another city gets you a job that makes you a better person, you need to do that. You need to get to a place where you feel comfortable. And I think that's helpful. Knowing that someone's going, do whatever you got to do. I'm here. And that's confidence on your end. You have to show confidence that this relationship can survive. I know what you wrote is about, like, the divorce comes from financial reasons. Yeah, that happens, but I think it happens less when you go, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. I think that's a great thing to say to someone who's going through something. Whatever you need to do that you think will get you through this, you do that. We will figure it out. But get yourself right first. Get your job right first, and then we'll figure it out. So I think, like, a lot of times when it's like, hey, well, if you move there, then what will we do? We'll figure it out. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We'll do a couple more. Not a gym rat. I've been dating my boyfriend for 4 years and all is great, but over the past few years, his gym routine has really declined. He was already a skinny boy to begin with, but he had some muscle mass, and I was really attracted to the fact that he worked out. Now he barely goes to the gym and always seems to have an excuse for why he can't work out that day. I was an athlete and work out pretty regularly, which I understand could be intimidating, but I feel like I've tried a lot of ways to encourage him to go to the gym or work out at home, asking him to come with me, suggesting sending workouts, offering to pay personal training, suggesting he work out with his boys. Ooh, but nothing keeps him consistent. That would annoy me. I think health and fitness is like a very personal thing. I don't think it's just like I also don't think it's like done in a minute. Like I'm a person, like, I want to eat healthy the whole day. I want to be a gross piece of shit, fat fuck the whole day. Like when I've said it a lot on this podcast, when I dig in, I'm in. That's it. So when someone like my girlfriend, she, for a long time, she would be like, well, we can go to the gym, the gym together, or, well, we can do, and I'm like, well, why? And it's like, no. This is my thing that I have to deal with. I'm not looking to also deal with the interpersonal, workings of when do you work out versus I work out. No. I need less in my way to get to the gym, not another person. So I think, like, this stuff is, so when you're sending them workouts, like, hint, hint, this could help you get some body mass, I'd be like, ugh, I don't think that helps the situation. He will go for 1 day and then a whole month off before going again. I know quarantine is hard and he's still super busy during this time, but he could at least take an hour a day to work out and do something good for his body. We don't live together, and I feel like his workout habits might improve if we were to see me working out regularly, but I don't want to rely on that for the future. I'm not sure where to go from here because he knows this is important to me and it's the only con of the relationship. I understand people change and it's important to grow together, but I really loved when he had some muscle mass and put a little effort into his health maintenance and physical looks. This is a tough one because it just sounds like, it's one thing if you're like, they've gained a lot of weight, like gaining a lot of weight and becoming unhealthy. That's an easier thing to be like, hey, I want you to be alive from, our kids, and I want you to live, you have trouble, doing things, and I want to be able to do things together. And but when you're asking that he's not muscular enough, that to me is a different thing where it's like, you might not just be into his look, and that's a part of the pot. You say everything's perfect, but like, doesn't sound like but the attraction might not be there. Maybe that's changed. Maybe he doesn't care about that stuff anymore. And, because he doesn't care, that's what's making you less attractive. That's what you said. So to me, like the muscle mass thing, that's tough because, that's purely lust at that point. And if you're not lusting after him or you don't feel an attraction, then maybe the relationship is off. That's a part of the wheel. Attraction's in there. And right now you're saying that you're unattracted when you're like, well, I liked when he had a little more muscle mass. Like, listen, it's one thing like someone like I've gained weight and you try to slim down and look better. But a lot of that's about my health. This is when you ask someone like, hey, you used to bench like 2 plates. Now you're not benching anything at all. It's like we've headed into another territory that might not be your match. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Butt stuff. Jared, you're the best. Subscribed, rated, shared, all the things. Here's my story. I have a friend with benefits. He's 38, good-looking guy who's pretty open with me and my needs, so it's all fun. I wanted to fuck with a plug-in, and he was 100% on board. When he came over, I had it in, ready. I'm all plugged up, ready to go. The bathtub's ready. You know what I mean? Wink. I had it all plugged up and ready to go. We got down to business pretty quick. I also realized pretty quick that this was his first time, which made it extra fun for me. After 20 minutes of play, he accidentally pulled it out. I immediately panicked because, well, there was going to be a little something on it. I tried to explain a little poo happens and cleaned it up real quick, but I could tell he was freaked out and he left pretty fast. Ooh, he pulled the plug. He texted me later, apologizing again for removing and freaking out, and thanked me for coming over, and he thanked me for having him over. At this point, will this go back to good sex? Will he get over it? I had a good quote-unquote teacher with kinky stuff, and he never got weirded out by stuff, so I'm a bit unsure because I never thought twice about things. I love this email. I also that sucks. They had fun. Poop's going to happen. I think you got to invite him over again, and I think the next time you come over, be like, get him talking a little bit about what made him uncomfortable. Like, a little of your poop on the fucking butt plug? Like, what does he expect? And, maybe next time you come over, you'd be like, yeah, I had a lot of fiber, so it's all going to stick together, and don't worry about it. I think what's done is done. He freaked out. Okay, whatever. I think now what you should do is try to have a conversation over text where it's like, what did you like about the last time? What did you not like? And if he's comfortable bringing up, well, I didn't like that there was shit all over the fucking place. You go, yeah, I get it. It sucks, but that's kind of what happened. And maybe this is the area that he steers clear of. But I think talking it out will help a lot. And talking about it in a sexual way. I know that's hard because you had poop. But to go, hey, what did you like? What did you not like? What are the things that we can do differently? Because you're kind of the teacher position. You said that he's inexperienced. So hey, talk to him like someone that, I would talk as if a round 2 is expected and ask him what he liked and didn't like to get him to that next place. And maybe he'll go, I was uncomfortable first, then I thought it over, and those things. Get him talking, and I think that will let you know. And then have him over again and fucking plug up. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Hey, this podcast is sponsored. Tuesdays and Fridays are sponsored. And then I mentioned the sponsors on the other episodes. Just so you guys, if this could help you out, use them. Postmates, no contact delivery is now available. Support your favorite local restaurant and get $100 free delivery credit when you download the Postmates app and use code JTRAIN when you sign up. I think you get it for the first week, $100 of delivery credit. Use JTRAIN when you sign up for Postmates. Feels CBD. I love CBD. I use it every morning. Feels makes me feel better. Get 50 50% off your first order at feels.com/JTrain. That's FEALS.com/JTrain. Best Fiends. Fun game. Takes your mind off of shit. I'm addicted to this game. Get it today on the App Store or Google Play. That's Friends without the R. Best Fiends. Ritual Vitamins, the obsessively researched vitamin for women. You can fill in the gaps in your diet. Get 10% off your first 3 months at ritual.com/JTrain. Let's do a luxury lounge. You ready? The luxury lounge is something I do on Patreon. If you're not familiar with Patreon for $5 a month, you get 2 extra podcasts a week. That's a good deal. $5 a month, 2 extra podcasts a week, $15 a month. You can ask me for advice and I'll answer your message. That sound good? We do a luxury lounge every Wednesday on Patreon. Let's do a luxury lounge. Hit the music, Shelby. On today's luxury lounge, I want to talk about sushi. I love sushi. I don't know about you guys, but I love sushi. I love the specialty rolls, the rolls that are like a little different and a little fun. Here's my problem with sushi. I never know how much to order. I think like sushi amounts, and they'll do the bento boxes or they'll do the pre-order, but the pre-order special never they're never fun. It's always like 4 rolls that are just like the one, like tuna, salmon, crab stick. And you're like, who's ordering the pre-made, who's getting the sushi for one? What kind of uncreative loser is getting sushi for one where they're not even putting in a specialty in there? And then if you look at the sushi for 2, it's just more of the regular fish one. I want to be able to there should be every restaurant for sushi should have a sushi for 1 fat fuck edition. It should be sushi for 1 that eats like it's a 3. And it should have 3 different specialty rolls. It should have 1 hand roll, and then it should have 1 like regular 6-piece roll. And then a soup. Because when you order sushi, you go, we'll get 3 rolls. And then you're like, 3 rolls? Is that all I'm eating for the whole night? And then I have to wake up in the morning feeling hungry as fuck, and I'm going to get done. Every time I get sushi, I order an extra white rice just so I know that there's something backup to keep me in the game. And it's just, sushi was made for a Japanese consumer. 6 pieces, evenly cut, no mess. We need more sushi made for an American. I need a 7-Eleven big gulp of sushi, and I need more places to pack and have it be orderable for a person with a normal American-sized diet. I want a supersize me sushi, because right now, 4 rolls ain't doing it. And I need something more substantial, and I don't want to order extra rice just to eat rice. That's today's Luxury Lounge. You can sign up for Luxury Lounge. You can get a Luxury Lounge every Wednesday on my Patreon. Patreon.com/JaredFreed. Patreon.com/JaredFreed. The link is in the description. $5 a month, 2 extra podcasts a week, or $15 a month. You can ask advice, plus the podcast. Let's do some quick hit questions, and we're out of here. I put these quick hits on my Instagram. I put this up real quick, so we only have a few. Should I call out my casual hookup 4 months for ghosting me, or just let it go? I would break up with them. The problem with ghosting is that it leaves it open for interpretation for them to come back. I would send them a text, hey, this is obviously over. I would have really appreciated it if you didn't ghost me, but I won't be hooking up with you again. Please don't text me ever again. At least you get the ownership of it being done. Is it wrong to be with someone if you know you don't want a future together? If it's wrong to be with someone if you know you don't have a future together? I'm not going to get into right or wrong, but I think you should think about why you're in it then. What are you getting out of this? And that's a little selfish. If you're in a relationship with someone that you know isn't going to have a future, but you're staying in it because you are afraid of being lonely or afraid of dating again, or you're afraid of not meeting someone more, at that point, you're using another person to get through your own problems. And that at that point, I would assume you need a psychiatrist, a professional, rather than another human being whose life you're tampering with. How often is it normal to text someone you virtually met during quarantine? Text when you have something to say. There's no normal. There's no normal. You text when you got something to say. He college girls still sleep with my teddy bear. Will that freak dudes out? I'm living with a 27-year-old woman who has their own elephant on the bed. I'm here. I'm living in it. Guy I'm dating talks about my hot best friend a lot. Should I be concerned? I think you should be concerned with his level of respect for you. Everyone thinks other people are hot. Everyone thinks that people that they're not dating are hot. But you don't go to your significant other and go, hey, did you see that? That's what I'm liking. Because you're a dick if you do that. So, is he just a dick? Yeah. Should you be concerned? Yeah, you're dating a dick. Would you ever do stand-up virtually? I would never do stand-up virtually. I'm out. Nuh-uh. We're actually going to do another Beach by Happy Hour. Beach by Happy Hour we're doing next Thursday, week from today, $10, same deal, new guests, new segments. It's going to be a blast. Get the whole group chat involved. But I'm not going to do stand-up virtually because, to me, stand-up is meant to be done in a club. It should be, and if you watch it on TV, it should be in a highly produced way that you can watch it on Netflix. I think my personal opinion is if someone's doing stand-up on like Zoom, it's because they're huge and they can, and you'll go to their show anyways, or that they're not really someone you'd ever buy a ticket to go see. And I trust that if I put out enough great stuff, you'll come and watch me do stand-up, and when things let out, I got a whole new hour that's ready to go that I'm going to have to practice again and do all that shit. Thoughts on using passport function on Tinder during quarantine? I think you have to be real. The passport function is so you can swipe in another city. Be realistic about what you're going to do when you get a match. Are you doing that to just check out guys or girls in that city? Are you doing that because you want to be in a relationship that has outs? Be honest with yourself. Why are you using the passport function? Are you doing it because you're moving there? That's a good reason. Are you doing it because you want to you want to hook up with someone, then be able to say, well, we'll blame this on long distance. Best part about the new apartment living situation. I'm very comfortable. I love the neighborhood. Lower East Side's great. The roommate's not bad either. Met during quarantine. Want to meet in real life, but I'm afraid he's met more people, and I want to ask. I don't think that's... He is meeting more people. Everyone you're meeting right now is meeting other people. And the reality is you have to know that you're a great party, but you're not the party everyone wants to be at. So you let people know, hey, I'm down to get drinks after this is all over. They either come to the party or they don't. And it's not because you're not great. Thoughts on travel used so much on dating apps as... what? No question. Just look like a cop from a 70s movie. Book 'em, Dano. That's it for us. We'll be back next episode. Boom.